Well, hi, howdy, folks. Welcome in everyone in chat. Welcome to the most recent showcase here on the Binary Breakers Twitch stream, Spring Breakout. I'm going to be your host for the first part of this amazing showcase, Sapphire and Pink. The Breakout presented by the Binary Breakers is our spotlight series to showcase awesome community members throughout the year. Tonight's theme is featuring runs in and around the great outdoors and nature. Now, I know the outside can be scary for a bunch of gamers like us, but I promise you, you do not want to miss this. Opening our spring break is going to be Soulmass, guiding us through the gorgeous world of Neva in an any% story mode run, with Happy by 3 joining along with us on comms. Take it away, y'all!
All right, hello. I am Soulmass218, and I'm going to be presenting for you Neva, any% story mode. I'm going to go ahead and get it started, and then I'll give the countdown once we're into the game. And yeah, the countdown isn't actually right when we hit story mode. It's going to be like when we gain control of Alba, the main character. So we're going to be loading into the first season, which is summer. And then once we zoom in and I gain control, I'll let you know when to start the timer. And then we can talk about who's with us, what this game's about, all of that stuff. Zooming in here on Alba and Neva. We'll do a 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, this is Neva. This is a game developed by Nomada Studio. They're well known for their first game, which was a critically acclaimed classic called Grease. And Neva is very similar to Grease in its design, mentality, its aesthetics, and a lot of its control. All it really did was add combat to the game and some different movement mechanics. While I'm interacting with Neva here and doing some stuff just in this sort of tutorial part of the game, as Alba and Neva are starting to grow their bond together in the summer, I want to present my commentator, Happy. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Happy by 3. I have played this game casually. I have not speedrun it. I am here to function as your loving audience surrogate and go, wait, what? A couple times. Although I am yet unsurprised by the fastest way of moving, because as any of you who speedrun games will understand, I was not able to play this game casually without also thinking like, ooh, which combination of movements would make me go fastest? And I apparently landed on the right one, because it's what you're doing.
Exactly. The
else
fastest
have that
way. I have the exact problem. When I started running this game, actually, I was saying in the green room before this, I never watched any of the other speedruns that anybody else did. I just started running it. And I just happened to find pretty much most of the strats just by myself.
That's awesome.
Just because we're speedrunners. A lot of it in this first section just involves hitting the triggers for Neva as soon as you're able to in the specific spots on the screen. But yes, the fastest way to move, as you've seen, is this jump dash and being as close to the ground so that you can recharge as quickly as possible. This does get a little hard on your thumb across the hour-and-a-half run, but it's worth it for a game as beautiful as this.
It's gorgeous.
It's so pretty. I'm so glad I'm here watching it.
Here we have a scripted event with Neva that we're going to encourage Neva to jump. Neva's not going to quite make it, but we're going to help out. So cute.
Important to note, the predecessor to this game is Grease, like Gris, not like the second worst Broadway musical.
Yes. Not Grease. Grease. So in this part of the game, we just got these butterflies that we have to follow around. This is kind of introducing us to platforming, and if you're playing casually, you do kind of pick up on what the fastest platforming mechanics are just by doing this section.
Which is ignore the platforms.
Ignore as many as you're able to, because you do have a double jump and an air dash. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to kind of skip a few platforms that aren't really necessary. Like you can see, I got to this checkpoint for the butterflies way before the butterflies got here. But yeah, this is just, it's a beautiful game to look at. Oh no, I've fallen. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just in awe right now.
Stuff to look for if you find it hard to like see where you're supposed to go on this particular screen, just look for the grass. The grass is where all the platforms that you can actually walk on are.
Yeah, I love that they do that. And there's like that. The grass is a slightly different shade of green, so it still blends in with everything, but it's like that shade of green is only used to indicate walkable platforms.
Yep.
They do a really good job of that throughout this
And
game.
in general, the game has just really great accessibility. Story mode, which is what I'm playing, is basically the accessibility mode of the game. It's for people who just want to experience the journey and the story. So platforming is made a lot easier. There's no health bar for combat, and mechanics in general just easier to traverse the world. So anybody can enjoy the full game on this mode. But that also makes the speedrun faster than adventure mode, which is the base game. I love this beautiful field of flowers. But here's our introduction to our main enemy of the game, which is going to be a sort of corruption that's taking over the forest.
I hate when the top of the tree just starts floating away.
It's quite scary.
Happens every time.
Every time.
If you thought that was scary, the game only gets scarier from here. I kind of joke that this is a horror game, and in ways it is.
It's a little creepy.
I'm going to try and clear these hands as quickly as possible.
Hands are a good vibe.
Shoutouts to Weird Spindly. Weird Spindly stick hands.
Gotta be one of my favorite genders.
Gotta be one of my favorite genders.
We should ask them to join Binary Breakers.
We should.
Weird spindly stick hands.
All right, here's a screen where there's a scripted event where we have to rescue Neva from some hands. And we can actually just damage boost through all of these. Since we don't have a health bar in this mode, it just goes straight up here to Neva. We don't have to clear all of them out. Good example of why story mode is faster.
How much faster?
I can't remember. I know it's a fair few minutes. Just because
Well,
you
good
can.
news. One of us isn't playing a game right now, so I can go find out the answer to my own question on
Yes.
Looks like adventure mode is right about 10 minutes slower per world record.
Okay,
That
makes
feels
sense.
about right.
Yeah.
Which is like not awful over like an hour and a half run.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, all of this I'm doing now is just optimized movement. I'm going to go to the left here so I can just clear from left to right. Instead of dropping in the center and having to go left and then go right. Small optimizations.
So you can damage boost, but Neva does not.
Correct. Neva will hang behind. Except for right here. Here we don't have to actually mess with any of these hands again. Neither does Neva. Neva kind of just disappears and meets us on the other side. There we are.
I love my weird teleporting glowy dog.
Oh yeah, Neva's going to be doing a lot of teleporting after this segment of the game. But right now Neva's just a puppy. Welcome to our first combat encounter.
The animation of those things coming out of the ground is so good.
It's Pete.
It's just like a little floaty and oh.
All right, that does it for like the main tutorial part of the game. We're going to start diving into the actual game from here on out. So to introduce the game again, this is a story of Alba and her little puppy friend Neva. They're going to be going on a journey across the seasons to try and defeat this corruption that has started to creep into their forest home. We'll find out across the game, and as Alba and Neva grow together, Neva literally growing from puppy to adulthood, that this corruption is tied more to the actual seasons than we might believe. And we'll get into that once we get further into the game. You may be noticing that the enemies look a little familiar if you're a Studio Ghibli fan. Nomada Studio are also fans of Studio Ghibli. Grease had some Studio Ghibli stuff in it. This here, you can see that these things look a lot like No Face, the enemies from Spirited Away. And as we get to the story of this game, the whole game itself is very much inspired by Princess Mononoke. Now you see me doing down slashes throughout the whole game. Here's where it actually teaches you about the down slash.
Yeah.
The down slash is the most powerful attack at our disposal right now. So when we're trying to take out enemies, that's mainly what you're going to see me do is down slashes and a few strikes.
I love when a game teaches you a mechanic that, because it's a speed run, you've been doing for 10 minutes. Yes, very helpful. Thank you, game.
It just wants to make sure that you know.
Cool encounter there you saw when that dude spawned on the top platform, that all I had to do was just like a double jump from down below. And once I started slashing, if you hit an enemy with your slash while you're in the air, it actually recharges your double jump and dash. So I use that slash to hit him and then jump again and hit him again so he can just damage him through the bottom platform and knock him off. Faster than just jumping up there. It's pretty cool.
That's it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Here, I'm just going to keep on moving. And I don't have to do any of those platforms if you keep moving, because you get to the No Face before the thorns spawn in.
The speed strat of just keep moving.
Exactly, just keep moving. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool platforming in this game, and it feels really, really cool to do the movement because of stuff like the slash cancels that recharge your double jump and dash and such like that. Here's something you're only going to see in story mode runs. There's 3 different chase sequences in the game, and they can be a little difficult for a casual player. So what they did was they added the ability to skip them. So we're going to skip them. You don't get to see those.
I love a skip button.
So just like any other cutscene, we can now skip the auto scrollers. Gotta love it.
They should have that
when
more
the
games.
speedrun tech amounts to just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't. It's that easy.
Yeah, just
auto
keep going
scroller?
and don't do it.
Here's where the game teaches you that you can like dash through enemies, and you won't get hurt from the iframes that you have while you're dashing. Again, something that we've been using this whole time, just to save time.
Every dash is a demo dash.
That's right. This is now the sequel to Celeste, right?
Yeah. This is indistinguishable from Celeste.
Every game is either Celeste or Stardew Valley.
That feels like one of those. It's either blank or blank memes. It's a good game, she says. It's blank. Is it a Celeste or a Stardew?
But then I have to pick between Celeste and Stardew being good games.
So if you played Grease, you know that one of the design aesthetics was like these mini hub areas that you would have to go right and left to clear the right and left sections before you would be able to proceed to the next one. So this is the first one. We're going to go right first and take out these no faces. Oh, that was weird. Just going to do this. And then go to the left, and there's a bunch of thorns on the left-hand side that you would be expected to clear out all of the no faces to get rid of all the thorns. But in actuality, to get to Neva up there on the top, you only need to get rid of the thorns that are blocking Neva. So I'm going to try and do a damage boost right here to get on this platform, straight up to this no face, and we can just ignore this whole section.
Oh my god. Speedrunners strike again with just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Don't deal with it. It's too much work.
Here's another combat encounter. You're going to notice me doing this down slash to knock enemies off of platforms. This ends up being faster in a lot of cases. Especially when we get to the part of the game where there's nothing beneath us. So knocking them off the platform and they just fall to their death is faster than fighting them. Here, I'm just going to, again, there's nothing beneath me and we have no fall damage, so I'm just going to strike downward and fall through that whole thing instead of falling slowly.
Nice. It's kind of like the classic Mega Man thing where you want to finish boss fights near the center so that you don't have to walk to the center for the animation. Like, if you finish the fight at the far right of the screen, one must imagine you can screen transition faster.
And we will have something like that in these sections, these combat sections, where you see there's like that flower at the top. When we finish this section, we want to get back to the center to activate that flower. So the closer you are to the center when you finish the fight is actually better. So that's why I leave this guy till last, because I want to kill him because we're going to be closer to the center of the screen.
Nice.
And then set up right here so we're immediately standing to do this animation. Now, once I get back to the hub from this spot, we're going to get our introduction to the actual, like, what happens when we finish these hub areas. There's going to be a gong that pops up, and there'll be like a little platforming puzzle involving the gong, shifting the platforms around. In this one, though, because of how much we can chain movement in the air, we can skip a cycle of using the gong. We can just jump across the whole screen. So if I can get that, it's pretty cool. It's a little tight, but not too bad. Here, we'll activate this. Hit the gong once to get the platforms to the left-hand side. We have to go take out that no face. And then we're going to do this. Whoops, didn't get it. I'll try it again because it's cool. There we go.
Let's go.
So we get a roll with a coyote time jump off the edge, then we do a dash, and then another double jump, and then we do another slash at the end to just extend us even further. And we can make that whole gap without having to switch the platforms back to the right-hand side. And we are already at the boss of the beginning of the game. This is the boss of the summer. Pretty easy. All we're going to do is just get in damage as quickly as possible to get him down and try not to get hit, because getting hit is slow. You can see we can stun him a couple times. I do want to try and finish the fight here on the right-hand side, because this animation, this cutscene starts from the right. And that's it. That's the end of the summer.
Summer is officially over. We've canceled summer.
Friendship ended with summer. All is my best friend.
All right, you are, because, you know, we've canceled summer, so I guess it's time to go to the fall.
One must imagine that fall comes next. Though that'd be wild if it was like Chapter 2, Spring.
Is this a Monty Python joke now? Anyway, yeah, this is the fall. You'll notice that Neva is a little bigger now. I like to call this Neva's teen phase. Neva's going to be a little more angsty and angry and independent in this part of the game. So we won't be seeing Neva as much. And when we do see Neva, Neva's going to be doing a lot of damage on her own. She kind of is not as dependent on us anymore at this point. Welcome back to air dashing.
Far too majestic in this section. I need like a proper teenage dog where they're like weirdly proportioned and can't quite walk right, and like love me an awkward teenage dog. They're so cute at that phase.
It's so cute.
Hard agree.
No, I keep on thinking the game isn't going to get more beautiful than it already has been, and then it just keeps on defying all expectation.
You'll find that that's just going to be the game. That's just the way it is. Part of why I fell in love with this game is because of how beautiful it is. Just like their last game, Grease. It's just... game design is impeccable. Like, I know artistic games aren't for everybody. But, I feel like Grease and Neva are for everybody. And yes, I am screaming Neva.
What's the name of the game?
Also, say hi to the boars. Surely we won't see those boars in the future. Princess Mononoke fans.
Hi, boys, we'll see for one time and one time only, definitely.
Definitely. And now we finally have the part of the game that has actual platforming with death pits. Cool thing about story mode with death pits is all they're going to do is if you fall in them, respawn you back on the platform you were last standing on. So again, not super punishing. And we're going to use that to our advantage in a few sections to go faster in some combat sections. But also welcome to ladders. We're going to be doing double jumps up the ladders and regrabbing because it's faster than climbing.
Regrab mentioned?
Regrab mentioned.
Get your memes in chat, folks.
Yeah, I don't really know what a regrab is, so
Chat.
surely someone knows.
Yeah, somebody tell us what a regrab is. Whoops. Little fall. Thankfully not over a pit. But again, like I was saying, like everything that you can do with your movement options in the air in this game is so... It feels so good to just do all of the movement. Like, you feel like a god gamer playing this game.
I love how much Neva is helping now. It's
I was
it's
just
very
gonna say,
cute.
Neva's being very helpful with this section.
She's the goodest of girls.
Yeah, Neva's gonna do everything on her own, essentially, at this point. And dang, I'm just missing a lot of platforms. Jeez. Need to stop that. Main feature you're seeing now of this section is all the platforms destroying as the environment crumbles around us. So part of running is just knowing how each stage is going to crumble and accounting for that. You'll see me do a spot coming up where I'm going to know exactly where it crumbles. I'm just going to jump straight down and just do everything before it actually happens on screen. It's pretty neat. Here, unfortunately, we do have to wait for cycles. This is one of the only ones where we have to wait.
Amsterdam mentioned in my video game.
You see these little fountains that we pass along the way every time? If we were on adventure mode, this is where our health would get refilled if we had lost health along the way. But welcome to the new enemy type. This is our big enemy as opposed to the small enemies. The goal with these is to try and kill them before they warp across the screen, because they're going to try and warp away from us. But if we can damage them just enough, they will die before they warp away.
Let's go.
Your goal is to get one of those stuns. You saw it get a stagger in, and then kill it quickly after the stagger. And just like that, we're back to another one of those hub areas. This one we're going to go left first because it's right here. So we didn't actually get to see the hub, but I assure you it's right there.
Trust.
And you don't see stuff beneath us, but I assure you there's stuff beneath us right here.
Nice.
Let's go. It was actually there. Let's go.
And here's the cool part I was talking about. We're just going to fall. And then down slash. Going to do a double jump. Make this cycle. And no waiting necessary here. We are good to go.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Because we know exactly what to expect there. As long as we're moving the whole time, we can make that whole thing without waiting for the cycle. Time to do another one of these fights. He got away from me. Unfortunate. Neva helped me out.
Best girl.
We got the second one, though. And now we're going to make our way back to the hub area that I talked about that we didn't see. We've cleared the left-hand side. We got to go now over to the right-hand side.
The secret hub area only mentioned in Legend.
That's right, Neva. You get him. Good girl.
She's doing it. She's doing it.
That was a couple
And
of
here's the
years.
hub.
I've heard tales about this one.
So left-hand side had a lot of like cycle platforms and crumbling blocks. This one's going to have combat encounters. What we want to do with these flying enemies is jump into them, get 2 slashes off and then a down slash, and then abuse the mechanic where we respawn on the platform so that we can just immediately respawn after they died.
That arena with like the aerial combat just off of the ledge was deeply Super Smash Bros. Coded.
Yes, this is all very Smash Bros. Code, and it feels very good.
Doing some
2 slashes and a
combat
down.
just off. Now, if after the down slash you could recover and get a ledge grab, it would be peak Smash gaming, but also slower.
And really, all this movement with like chaining stuff together in the air to keep yourself aerial to make all these platforms is also very Smash Brothers coded. You got one more combat encounter up the top of this, and then we'll be done with the right-hand side and go back to the hub. This one's going to be a whole bunch of those flying dudes. Gonna wait here for this guy to come to the middle. Because it's just faster to wait for him to come to you. And then here's a good illustration of, again, there's no fall damage in the game. So if you know there's something beneath you, there's no reason to do any platforming, right? So let's just fall. We don't need any of those ladders or any of that stuff. Look at that, we're back at the hub.
Wow, that was fast.
This one's just a timing puzzle. As long as you do these platforms as quickly as you're able to access them, then you're going to be fine. What you want to do is get to these right ones and get off of them as quickly as possible, because they're going to go down now, and then you won't be able to access these top platforms anymore. And we are about to introduce the final boss of the game, which you're not going to see in this cutscene, because we're going to skip the cutscene and the chase sequence.
Dang, final boss time already? GG Reki.
Easy record. Easy record.
So easy. Look how ahead we are.
It's actually like an hour-long boss fight. Just 30 minutes of platforming and then a really, really long boss.
So yeah, if you want to experience this game for yourself, this run is not spoiling much of anything for you. You don't see any of the cutscenes, and you're not seeing any of the chase sequences, which are essentially cutscenes within themselves. So definitely play the game. It's awesome. But welcome to Fall Part 2. This is what I like to call Silent Hill. We've now entered the Silent Hill universe.
What regrettable life choices did you make to end up in Silent Hill?
Speedrunning this game? No, that's wrong. I didn't say that.
Man, fall is so cool. I wish they made a second one.
This is fall 2, yeah.
Oh my god!
This is going to be the one instance where you're going to see me do a quit out from checkpoint, because it is faster, both RTA and in-game time, to just quit out here. Because for some reason, Neva just takes forever to catch up to you at that spot in the game. She's like lagging way behind and won't catch up to you, and you're stuck on that screen. If you reload checkpoint, though, Neva's right here with you. Keep on moving.
Absolutely zooming.
Welcome to the Corrupted Boars. Again, if you've seen Princess Mononoke, you knew this was coming. Trying to get them over to the right side of the screen, because it's just faster that way. Because we're going to have to advance right anyway. So if we can kill them close to the right side of the screen, it's faster than letting them run to the left.
I think my dog knows about Neva because I can hear her barking in the other room.
My dog is asleep next to me.
Aww.
Hey, sweetie.
Oh. So these would be timed platforms if you were playing on adventure mode. On story mode, if you open them up, it takes forever for them to close. So you don't have to worry about timing in story mode. But they do close very quickly. We want to defend this boar, because if the boar gets possessed, then we have to play this another boar fight, and that's slow. See these flying enemies? This is kind of where the game teaches you that if you slash an airborne enemy, it recharges your dash and your double jump. So again, the game lagging way behind when we knew what we what we were able to do.
I love a movement kit that's available right from the start.
Don't worry, there will be some abilities that we don't have access to, and we will be getting one of them very soon, actually. It's very cool. I never get tired of watching Neva take out them dudes. Thank you, Neva.
Thank you, Neva.
Also, this part of the game is very creepy. It's only going to get creepier from here. Same deal here with these bird enemies. We just want to make sure that we take care of them before the enemies that spawn in that are crawling on the ground can get to them. Otherwise, they will get possessed again, and that's slow, because we got to fight them again. Here, the end of this branch is going to fall apart, and we're going to fall down in a cinematic portion. I'm going to try and time a down slash right when it starts so that I can fall faster. There we go. And this is kind of a scripted fight. We do have to kill a few of these guys, but once we kill enough of them, they're going to take over this giant boar. Again, we want to start from this side, so we can lure the boar over to the right side of the screen. And as you can see, since we're on the right, we can immediately start moving. But it is time to unlock our new ability.
New stuff.
I love
Surprise.
new stuff.
40 minutes in, it's a Metroidvania.
Some Metroidvania percent.
But now we have the ability to call Neva to our aid to take out enemies at will. And I like to call this the Neva Bazooka because we can shoot it in any direction. You can see on top of the screen, it's giving us the instruction that you can aim and shoot. We're going to do that in a moment to activate a platform, which we can't reach otherwise. Like this. Thank you, Neva.
Thank you, Neva.
Yeah, I call it the Neva Bazooka because what else would I call that? Oops. Accidentally downslashed into it instead of doing the extension. You want to be careful if you're using the D-pad or the stick that you don't accidentally press down because you will downslash and plummet to your death.
So it is like Celeste in that way.
Yes. Right there again, we're trying to keep those enemies from getting to the birds so they don't get possessed and slow us down. If you do it a certain way with the Neva Bazooka, the fight is very scripted.
Those are like the worst kinds of fights in speedruns where you're like, if I do everything right, this is perfectly scripted and super, super easy. And then as soon as I make a mistake, which I will because it's me, I have to like improvise everything and panic.
That's going to happen when we get to the boss of this section of the game. Or at least the boss of the middle section of Fall, I should say, which is the one that we're in now.
So Fall's kind of the longest by like a pretty significant amount.
It is. Because it has 3 different sections. Spoilers. So right now we're in the second segment of Fall. And then the third segment of Fall is again another big long section of gameplay that has its own theme. Here's our corrupted boar boss, sort of. Again, this is just kind of an auto-scroller. We're just waiting for our Neva Bazooka to recharge and then immediately attack these. This weak point, the corruption on its forehead. Easy peasy.
She's such a little helper.
He loves to help. Oops. Good example here. You're going to see how long these things stay open. Normally they would like close up on you by the time you get back to this left-hand side. I'm going to have enough time to... oh, no, I'm not. I was going to say I would have enough time to get across anyway, even though I made some platforming mistakes. Just barely ran out of time, though.
That jump you were trying to do to the one on the left, I assume that is possible since you attempted it.
Yeah, there's some very tight jumps you can do right here.
That feels like the kind of platforming that I would spend like hours casually ramming my head against, because I know there's a faster way, but I also know in my heart that it looks possible. You know? You're like, okay, but what if?
What if?
And it has that coolness factor.
So here's the boss I was talking about. There's a very specific way to optimize this fight, which will make sense once the second deer gets into it. But for now, we just need to focus on taking out the corruption every time it exposes itself on the one deer while it's on the screen. Now we got two. What we want to do is make sure that we are limiting our cycles just to killing both of them at the same time. So I'm going to stay here on the right side of the screen, use the Neva bazooka on the left, and attack the right myself. And if you time everything well, they should die at the same time. Should have one more to do. Again, it doesn't matter if you really take damage here because you don't have a health bar. And that's that.
I'm loving these like joint scenes between them.
So I would say, yeah, we're done with the fall now, right? But nope, I already spoiled it. We're just getting into the third segment of fall now. Welcome to the actual horror section of the game. Where's Neva?
Neva? Neva! Neva!
This is so sad.
And this is what I like to call the underworld, because clearly we've been dragged under the world. This area is very dark, very creepy. I do want to call out an accessibility feature for like areas where we zoom way out like that and it's just a giant screen and a tiny Alba. It used to be a lot harder to see Alba on screens like that, especially if you're on a tiny screen like a Switch or a Steam Deck. They made it so that Alba is like much more visible on tiny screens, and I have it turned on now, just so we'd be able to see a little bit better. It kind of makes Alba visible through objects, essentially. You can see Alba behind these pillars and such. We never lose sight of her.
Neva!
And hey, there's Neva.
Yay!
I don't like the foreshadowing going on in the background, though. I don't know what that's about.
Surely it's nothing.
Also, it's time to start thinking with portals.
Hooray!
Oh my god.
Portal second.
Because every modern platformer needs portals, right?
That's the rules.
It's true. I can't believe they made Portal 3.
Finally, they made Portal 3. It was a 2D platformer.
2D platformer, Fall 3, Portal 3. Oh, they explode.
Yeah, that's the gimmick with the enemies in this area is they all explode when they die. Dangerous when you're not in story mode, clearly. Since we're in story mode, not quite as dangerous. Also, I don't like the stuff going on in the background. It's very bad. I don't like it.
So pretty though.
Oh.
Another screen here where everything turns red. It's like, where the heck did Alba go? I assure you, this screen isn't as bad as it looks on stream right now. But we are about to get to another hub, and guess what that means? We're going to go left and right. The gimmick essentially for both sides of this hub is going to be portals, as you might have guessed. But each has its own combat encounter as well.
Forgive me the brief look inside baseball, but I will be right back.
And here's a little combat encounter featuring portals. You want to try it and not knock them into the portals because it's a little slower. You kill them on screen so that they'll just do their explosion.
Do their explosions damage the other enemies?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, okay.
At least not to my knowledge.
I gotcha.
But while I'm getting back to the hub here, if you got anything you want to talk about, Sapphire, you have a moment here while I'm getting back to the hub and going to the right.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. I do just want to remind everyone that we have a couple more banger runs coming up. If you type !schedule in the chat, you'll get to learn more about the rest of the schedule for this spring breakout. And while I know it's fall in the game, I do also want to remind everyone that the Breakout Summer Games is going to be coming up on Sunday, June 8th at 4 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Binary Breakers Twitch channel. The submission cutoff for the showcase is fast approaching, so if there's something you'd like to show off, please make sure to get in touch with us.
Hello, I hope you missed me.
Oh, I missed you so much.
Thanks.
Welcome back, Happy. You're just in time for our big wolf friend.
Big friend.
Big friend.
We'll be seeing more of that big friend in a little bit. Ideally, we don't want to see these guys warp away, like I said, but this one's not so bad because if we fall in the bottom portal, it spawns us right in the center where we need to be for this flower. Now that we're back at this hub, we just got a quick little platforming puzzle. It's not really too hard when you know the solution already. And then we'll get into the second half of this segment of the fall, the underworld segment.
Let's go portals. Portals are awesome.
There's some couple more portal puzzles, but we're almost done with this whole portal section of the game, unfortunately.
Oh, devastating.
Hey, welcome to the rest of the underworld and unlocking our final Neva ability here. We are now completely teamed up with Neva. When we've called Neva to us, we now have an additional Neva slash in our slash repertoire, which is more powerful than our normal slashes. We'll take out enemies much quicker. And again, when we call Neva to us in the dark here, acts like a flashlight so we can see where we're going.
I am glad you taught Neva the TM for Flash.
That's scripted. We do have to use Neva to do that, but we don't have to use Neva on this one. And yeah, this whole segment is very dark. So casually, if you don't like dark places, this segment's going to be a little scary. Promise there's nothing lurking in the dark that's terrible, though. It's just dark. Coming up now on like the last big portal puzzle. Going down this bottom one, coming out the top one. Very nice.
Nice job.
And then here, we're just going to neutral fall and then jump as soon as we see that. And we'll be able to make this platform without having to climb back up that ladder. Gonna have one more big dude spawn in. Since we're on a little platform, it doesn't really matter if he warps away because he's not going to get far away from us. And then I lied, there's actually one more portal thing that's in the dark here.
Imagine lying.
But when you know where to go, it's not that bad.
So rude. Can't believe you lied to me.
Okay, now we're done with the portals because it is now time for the final boss.
I was just happy to
Hooray.
see more portals.
So again, bosses are kind of anticlimactic in story mode because there's no health bar. This one, you're just waiting for it to finish doing all of its cycles. It doesn't matter if it hits you, it's going to do the same attacks every time, essentially. So we're just waiting for this boss to expose its weak point 3 times for us so we can kill it. So again, Sapphire, this is a good point to say anything if you wanted to.
Yeah, of course. So I do want to say right now, currently, at this very moment, the Binary Breakers is hosting a community high score challenge in Impossible. Do you want to claim bragging rights for yourself? Be sure to share your scoring with us for a community leaderboard by April 22nd. So that's 16 days, just over 2 weeks you got. And I mean, if you guys love what's going on right now, I do also want to say run submissions and volunteer applications are open year-round to community members. If you want more information and a server invite, just reach out to us on Blue Sky or email the Binary Breakers at binarybreakersspeedrunning@gmail.com.
We should be finishing up this fight very soon.
Perfect games. People have been taking Impossible very seriously. In like a fun, silly way, but people
Bragging
are
rights is serious.
gaming.
Super serious. It was all just a terrible dream.
Oh.
Okay, speaking of the gamers, Zach's in chat. I believe the first binary breaker to post a perfect game? Or was that Mango?
I can't remember if it was Mingo or Zach, but I know both of them were like the first to jump on this impossible challenge. And both of them are like incredible at impossible.
It's
I got a lot of catching up to do.
impossible how good they are.
It truly is.
I love a pun.
Also, it is now the winter, if you hadn't noticed, and Neva's quite large, so we can ride on Neva in the winter.
Our baby girl is all grown up. Okay, I did some research and it does look like Zach did post a perfect time and Mango got a 299.
Mango 1 point away.
Still a very, very good score.
Yeah, everyone, Impossible is a free game, so if you want to take part in the challenge and you're part of the server, or you'd like to join the server and take part in the challenge, you should do so. It's really cool. Here's another new enemy type. These enemies that are inside of blocks, where we have to jump over the block and hit them from the other side to kill them. They'll become annoying here in a little while.
Fun fact about me. Free is my favorite amount for a game to cost.
Free is the best amount for any game to cost, to be honest.
It's true.
And guess what? The Dark Souls inspired Dark Bowls DLC is also free.
Dark Bowl.
That's the final boss of the game. We finally get to see them. That is the Queen of Corruption.
That's my nickname in college.
Oh my god, that's what they called me in high school.
I mean, Queen of Corruption is very gender. And this is actually a hub area that we're in. We have to go right and left again to clear all of this. The right side and the left side have their own themed segments and puzzles. But for this segment of the game, we do have to go right before we go left because... Oh, who's that in the background? There is some story that we have to progress. And you can only do that by going to the right first.
You're telling me there's story in my speedrun of story mode?
I can't believe it, but it's true.
It can't be, but it is.
Now here's the introduction to the gimmick of the right-hand side is mirroring. We're going to be using reflections to make our way through the platforming combat in this area. But also, you might have noticed me dismounting from Neva to do some platforming in these areas, and we're no longer able to ride on Neva. I kind of love the dismount. It's kind of like Yoshi, Yoshi ditching, Yoshi jumping. Now in story mode, we can see the enemies a little bit on the top side of the screen when we get close to them. But you can see the gimmick in this part is you can only really see them in the mirror, which would be below us. So you gotta do all your combat and platforming in this part of the game by looking in the mirrors. That makes platforming very hard in adventure mode because you're not able to see these platforms coming up. You can see them on the top in story mode, so this is easy. I can just jump on them. But if you're in adventure mode, you could only see the stuff on the bottom half of the screen. And this combat encounter here is very discombobulating. I have to look at the mirror on the right-hand side to do the combat. And of course, because I'm looking in a mirror, all my controls are mirrored for the combat encounter. But we took care of that easily, right?
Easy enough.
Casually, everything in the winter section of the game with all this platforming and some of the platforming to come later was definitely the hardest for me when the game first came out. Because even in story mode, you weren't able to see these mirror platforms. You could only see them like on the top half of the screen up there, or only on the bottom half of the screen. You can only see the combat in one side. Casually, kind of a nightmare from accessibility standpoint. So, Namada Studio, listen to feedback. Great developer. Thank you so much, Namada, for making story mode more accessible.
I love accessibility in gaming.
Me too. You're gonna see here the Neva strike just killing this dude in 3 slashes when they used to take forever to kill. So yeah, once we have Neva here in our repertoire of our attacks, so much more powerful.
I love how she just whispers Neva to herself whenever she summons her.
A reminder. I respect it.
These platforms in particular were kind of a nightmare before accessibility was added. But this is the end of the right-hand side where it's time to do a long walk back to the left, but also see a little bit of story. So we had a teaser on our way over here of another wolf. I think it's time to meet the other wolf. So he doesn't have a name, but I just like to call him Shadow because he's so cool.
You have 2 wolves inside of you. One of them is Shadow, one of them is Neva.
It's so true. I just wish I was as cool as Shadow. So now we're heading all the way over to the left-hand side to do the platforming puzzles in that segment. We are going to run into Shadow one more time, and again, Shadow's going to show off just how cool he really is. And progressing the story of Shadow and Neva, obviously meeting and falling in love.
Oh my god, I love a love story.
Neva is a love story indeed.
Hooray.
Yay!
First, just a quick combat encounter. Time for cutscene. God, it was so cool.
That was so cool.
A little bit of puppy love. All right, so now it's time for the left-hand side of this first half of winter. This part is going to be a a puzzle platform section with disappearing and reappearing blocks. They're not like Yoku blocks in a Mega Man game. These we have to destroy them, and after a short period of time, they will reappear. So you can imagine the type of puzzle platforming that would entail. And we'll just try and make our way through each of them as quickly as possible. First, another Yoshi jump. Thank you, Neva. And I love the atmosphere of this section. It's just very ethereal. Just choirs in the background. And the sound of breaking these blocks is just so satisfying. So yeah, that's essentially what all of the rest of the puzzles are kind of like, is breaking blocks, jumping back on them when they reappear. This one I want to get across the screen before this one respawns. And there will be a couple combat encounters as well. This one's pretty simple. Just make our way up the tower of blocks. Oops. Once again, make sure you're not pressing down. So fastest way to do this combat encounter is to kill that block on the right, come over to the left and get that block, then make your way back across the screen. It's going to spawn in 4 blocks, and then we want to lure them to the center of the screen. So we're going to stay in the center and let them come to us. And just like that, we're done.
The enemies make it so easy when they just move towards you.
Yeah, those guys are super aggro, so yeah, they make it super easy.
The whole winter section is just so pretty.
I love it so much. There's a really fancy jump you can do here if you're really highly skilled with your platforming. I'm just going to do the sort of normal way. Oh, let me do it the right way first. Slash, double, dash. That is much harder than I made it look.
So do either of y'all have a favorite enemy type in this game?
For me, I think my favorite enemy type, it's got to be these block dudes, because it's just the sound they make when you blow up these blocks. It's just the most satisfying thing.
Block dudes?
Block dudes mentioned.
Block dude mentioned.
Greatest video game of all time, optimal speedrun mentioned. My buddy Exothermic, sorry, I had to stop myself from saying his like Christian name. But my buddy does a YouTube channel where for 1 year he did daily videos counting down his 360 series, and is my 366th favorite video game. I think about that a lot. Because it really is the exact kind of game where you're like, I feel like I need to mention it because it was formative to my childhood, but I don't know that it deserves better than last place.
It's about 366th, yeah.
However,
I would say that's fair.
I absolutely lost my mind when it was revealed at GDQ that there is actual speed tech for Block Dude.
I know, right? I thought that run was just a total meme, and then there was actual tech. It blew my mind.
Actual gaming.
This is the end of the first half of winter. Just this little combat encounter where we're defending Shadow. I will say there is like a Yoshi jump you can do there to be slightly faster, but I just don't like doing it. It's kind of tight to call Neva right there once you exit that cutscene and get that Yoshi jump. Here is my absolutely most hated enemy in the game, but only because of how difficult this stuff was originally before accessibility was taken into account. These enemies right here that you hit in the air and they give you a boost as for a sort of a platforming enemy and not as much as an aggro enemy. The boost that you got off of these guys in vanilla game before patches was so small that it made the platforming very difficult in this section. So I spent a lot of time right here on this screen in particular, casually my first time playing the game. But now we can just kind of do a lot of stuff that's makes this kind of inconsequential. Because the boosts that we get off of these guys are way bigger.
So are the enemy placements the same as they were before patches?
Yep.
Okay.
So it actually makes
I can only imagine.
this easier because we don't even have to do the one on the right anymore. The boost is enough to reach the one up above us. All right, dude, that's enough. Stop.
You're doing too much.
Bro, please. You're doing the most.
The corruption's strongest soldier right there.
This is the Block Dude, turns out.
That's him. That's Block Dude.
Yes, that is the Block Dude indeed. Here's another part casually where if you messed up any of these boost jumps, you had to fall all the way back down the bottom there.
No, we already did fall.
Now it's not so bad because we can just skip the one on the right, go immediately to these over here. Or on the left, I mean.
I love when you can get vertical momentum from hitting something on the side. Like, you don't actually have to get the pogo. It makes it so easy to cheese sections like that.
For real. If it was all pogo jumps, that part would be so much harder just because of the way the how unforgiving the down slash is. Because once you're locked into it, you can't change it. And here we've got a little bit of a cutscene. Again, we're going to encounter the Queen of Corruption. She's going to summon a real big scary dude to the screen, but this is the third chase sequence, so we don't have to deal with it actually. We're just going to skip it.
Dang it. Can somebody find me the Hollow Knight down slash copy pasta? I can't find it. You know the one.
So you do get a peek at this enemy and how the chase kind of plays out, but you don't have to see the chase in this story mode any percent run. Oh, rescued by Shadow. Alright, so I am skipping a cutscene here because, again, it's faster just not to watch them. This one is just going to show Neva and Shadow go off and do their thing. We are now alone for the remainder of the game as we climb this wintry summit to face down the Queen of Corruption. This is my favorite part of the game because not having Neva forces this part of the game to just be pure platforming and execution. It is so satisfying to do. I love this part of the game.
So is there a spring section of the game?
Maybe.
I mean, we've seen summer, fall, and now winter. I wonder.
I'm hoping.
But we're getting pretty close to that estimate.
We are getting pretty close to the estimate. I would guess that we're probably getting much closer to the end of this game than we might imagine.
Spoiler outside of the bit, there is spring, but it's really short. The individual
Okay.
level for spring
Okay.
is like 3 minutes.
I was worried for a second. I'm like, okay, they just did 3 seasons instead of the 4. Okay, I got it.
No, it's
Yeah,
just-
spring is kind of a glorified auto-scroller, just kind of an epilogue. No less beautiful than the rest of the game, obviously. I hate this combat encounter so much. Because these guys are still just as hard as they would be if you had the Neva Slash. So just with our normal sword, they're a lot more difficult to kill than any enemies in the rest of the game. And games really need more gongs.
I think you're right. Not enough gongs in gaming.
It's hard to tell from the front if that's actually a gong. I was gonna make a actually that's a tam tam joke, but I don't know if it is. No, it sounds like a gong. It's pretty pitched.
Yeah, it's pretty pitched to gong.
Musical knowledge.
We're gonna say
in
gong.
my speed run,
Yeah.
it's more likely than you think.
Fun fact for you nerds who aren't that particular brand of nerd. The big thing that you usually hear called a gong is a tam tam. Gongs are small pitched instruments with a raised center.
The more you know. Oh my god.
Yeah. This is what you sign up for when you ask the perennial percussionist to do your comps.
I would
Hey,
ask for nothing less.
Yeah, as a musician, I appreciate it.
Knowledge.
Here's one of the last major combat encounters, if not the last, actually. There might be... No, there is one more after this. But we do, again, want to kill these guys but before they can warp away, if at all possible. This one, we're going to let him warp away because there's no way we're going to be able to keep him over on this right side of the screen. But we don't want him to warp away again. Oh, he came to the right. That's actually very lucky. Because our ladder is right here.
Let's go.
Let's go, RNG.
Let's go RNG.
Here comes the brass for this final, like, climb segment. Some violins and cellos.
I love a cello.
A good cello. My toxic trait, and this is fully, I know this is not a true statement, and I get mad, chat, if you want to. But, oh, thanks, Pyrox. Sorry, I just noticed Pyrox put the Descending Dark copy pasta in chat. Thanks, Bessie.
Thank you so much, Pyrox.
I knew someone would have my back. I'm like, I
Someone
cannot think
has
of the
it.
name of it right now, but I know there's a copy pasta about the down slash in Hollow Knight. If nobody else got me, I know Pyrox got me.
And that was the last combat encounter. Again, you kind of want to do it a certain way so that you're hitting the gongs and going up and down so you can progress to the right immediately after you're done with it.
Oh my god. Big block dude.
Yeah, this is the biggest block dude, champion of block dudes.
We said that guy earlier was the block dude. This is the block dude.
Now that we're past him, this is the final platforming segment of the game. We are almost to the final boss. Now we got block dude falling down from the sky trying to kill us while we're on ladders. Rude.
I don't remember this in block dude.
We can kind of just damage boost through it though. It's not a big deal. And if you're fast enough, you can get up the ladder before that last one comes down. One last gong, and then we're going to be climbing up to the final boss, y'all. It's time to face down with the Queen of Corruption. This fight, unfortunately, is very RNG. What we don't want to see is her warping across the screen, like doing a dash to either side of the arena, or flying up in the air and dashing to the other side of the arena. Because if she's away from you, you can't hit her. As long as we can stay close to her, keep damaging her down, the fight will go as quickly as possible. So we just kind of hope that we can stay stuck to her and keep getting the hits in while we can, and we'll see how that goes. These are unfortunately our last regrabs because this is the last ladder. It is a long one though. What a thrill!
No!
No, not my regrab.
And chat still hasn't told me what a regrab is.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Come on, chat. Frankly, it's embarrassing.
All right, let's see if I get blessed RNG. But this is a pretty cool cutscene. We're going to interrupt her dinner, and that doesn't make her very happy.
Oh, a regrab is when she goes back to regrab her dinner. Okay, I think
It's
I'm
true.
getting it. That was the regrab right there.
Yep, that was it right there. All right, let's go.
Sephiroth mentioned. Dude, of course she's a longsword man. Embarrassing.
Yeah, she's got a big old katana. Which, notice that we also wield a katana. A little bit of reflection there, maybe? I don't know, this game has a lot of symbolism in it.
It kind of has to. There's no dialogue. I feel like if no one says anything, that's really your only option for like getting a story across, right?
So the boss is dead, right? No, actually this boss has 2 phases.
2 phases in my katana wielding anime girl final boss? Unheard of. Never. Yo, the Brian
Neva.
Welcome back, adult Neva, for the final battle.
So good.
Wow, she was mean and just dashing away from me immediately. Oh, lots of hits now, though. So many hits.
Power of friendship, we can be stronger than anime girls.
It's
That's what I
true.
learned today.
I'm gonna skip this cutscene, so if you want to see the how this all plays out with the Queen of Corruption, you'll have to play the game for yourself.
No, my spoilers.
All right.
Oh my god, spring mentioned?
Spring mentioned, y'all. Spring breakout time.
Spring breakout?
Yeah, this is spring. Like we said, this is kind of on rails. It's just an epilogue segment. We have adult Neva here, and Surprise, surprise, a new puppy. This is Bruma, Neva's puppy.
Puppy.
So in the spring, we're just kind of, it's sort of a mirror of the beginning of the game. We're going to be leading around Bruma. And yeah, while I'm just kind of traversing this glorified auto-scroller, it's a good time for some final shout-outs. So Happy, I'll let you go first. You got any shout-outs?
Yeah. Hi. I have been. I will be. We'll continue for the foreseeable future to be Happy by 3. If you want to hear me yap and play video games, I very rarely, but more so generally in the spring and summer. I don't know, the bug just bites me. Stream on Twitch at Happy by 3. Right now, doing a lot of Skate Horse, and I'm going to be on GDQ Hotfix playing Crypt Custodian this week, and I'm going to double check what day of the week that is before I say it out loud, because I don't want to be wrong. Tuesday night, I will be running Crypt Custodian on Express Lane. So yeah, come hang out there if you feel like it.
Let's go.
It'll
It'll be fun. A little nervous about deresting, but game fun, so it's an excuse to play that game a lot tomorrow.
And of course, I have been Soulmass218. Neva is not the only game I speedrun. I speedrun quite a lot of games, but most of them are kind of in this sort of flavor. They're very artistic, sometimes walking sim games that you wouldn't expect to be speedrunnable. But I have found ways to speedrun them. So if you like seeing games like this and Grease, Journey, Flower, I don't know, just all these types of beautiful games that have very visual storytelling to them, you can follow me here on Twitch, Soulmass218. It is not going to be time when I hit the next cutscene that shows up, but it will be time right after that, and I will call exactly when that happens. This is the last actual interactions that we need to do. We need to call Bruma down to us here. Get down here, Bruma. And now it's just the final jump dashes over to the right. We're going to trigger a cutscene, and then as soon as we skip that one, we're going to go to the second cutscene trigger, and that's where the time will stop. And because I know I've been given the go-ahead, we're going to show the ending cutscene. I will warn everybody that it is extremely sad. So if you don't want to watch the ending cutscene, if you don't like being sad, you don't have to watch it. But I'm going to show it anyway. It's also beautiful. It's so beautiful, though. I love time coming up when I touch Bruma. Time.
Yay!
Oh my god, Bruma's so cute!
Oh my god.
So yeah, we're going to watch this. I will mention, though, that this was a PB by 44 seconds.
Let's go!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Or TAPB.
Enjoy the cutscene, everybody.
Bruma's ready to fight. Got that dog in her.
And that was Neva, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the run. I really appreciate it. Stick around for the next